a molecular biologist's experience studying exo-biospheric organisms. From the late 2000s to the mid-2010s, I worked as a molecular biologist for a national security contractor in a program designed to study exo-biospheric organisms, or EBOs. The program's objective was to decode the genome and proteome of these organisms, something that had been stagnant for decades until the advent of high-throughput DNA sequencing in the late 1990s. These advances unlocked a wave of discoveries that revealed unsettling truths about our place in the universe. We learned that EBOs possess a genome that is a chimera of DNA from our biosphere and an unknown one. These beings are artificial, designed for a purpose that remains only partially understood. They are ephemeral, disposable, and in essence, tools. In this account, I'll share what I observed, read, and experienced during my time in this program. Why I share this now? My decision to disclose this information is simple. I believe humanity deserves the truth. Progress demands that we confront and dismantle the institutions withholding these revelations. Though my impact might be small, I see these leaks as necessary to weaken the dam of secrecy. Eventually, governments will reveal the truth, and when they do, it will undoubtedly trigger societal upheaval. In my opinion, delaying these revelations will only worsen the consequences. That said, I choose to remain anonymous for the safety of myself and my family. I know this diminishes the credibility of my message, but it's a compromise I'm willing to accept. To protect my identity, I've been deliberately vague about details like dates, education, and roles, and I've even included red herrings. However, the scientific details of the research I'll share remain accurate. My background: I hold a PhD in molecular biology. I didn't seek out this program. Rather, a chance encounter at an academic conference led to my recruitment. I presented a lackluster research project that likely didn't impress the senior scientist who approached me. But sometimes, success is about attitude and making connections. Shortly after graduating, I was offered a position. The hiring process was strange, with 3 increasingly cryptic interviews at different locations, culminating in a 4th meeting where I signed an extensive NDA. The laboratory and its operations. The laboratory was located at Fort Detrick, Maryland, hidden within a legitimate biomedical research facility. The clandestine EBO program operated in a restricted basement area. Contrary to what one might expect, biosafety protocols weren't at the maximum level. The lab housing EBO samples was classified as BSL-3, while the labs conducting assays were only BSL-2. The team consisted of 20 scientists, 4 senior scientists, and a director. Each of us held a PhD. But much of the work was technical, and could have been done by someone with far less training. Our focus was on sequencing the genome, studying proteins, and conducting experiments to better understand the biology of EBOs. There were no custodial or maintenance staff. We handled everything ourselves. Internet access was restricted to senior staff and higher, though we had access to an intranet for bioinformatics needs. The restricted part of the lab included a freezer room storing EBO carcasses at 80 degrees C. There were only 4 bodies, all damaged, likely due to trauma. These beings were strikingly similar to the gray aliens of modern folklore, with significant anatomical and biological differences. Ebobiology genetics. EBO genetics are strikingly similar to ours. Their DNA is based on the same double helix structure, which was initially baffling. This implies a shared ancestry between our biosphere and theirs. They are eukaryotes, meaning their cells have nuclei containing genetic material, and their genome consists of 16 circular chromosomes. One of the most extraordinary discoveries was the uniformity of their intergenic regions, sections of DNA that don't code for proteins. Unlike in humans, where these regions are chaotic and filled with junk DNA, EBO intergenic regions are highly uniform and streamlined, pointing to artificial design. Their genome is smaller than ours, with fewer protein-coding genes, reflecting genetic refinement. The most unique feature is a tripalindromic region, TPR, found in the regulatory sequences of their genes. These TPRs serve as precise addresses for each gene, allowing unparalleled control over genetic manipulation. Such precision cannot arise naturally, confirming the artificial nature of their genome. Gross anatomy: EBOs are around 150 cm tall, with gray biosynthetic films covering their white, hairless skin. Their heads are large with oversized eyes, small nostrils, and a narrow, lipless mouth. They lack teeth, vocal cords, genitals, or an anus. Their skeletal structure is similar to ours, with collagen and hydroxyapatite, but their bones contain copper oxide crystals instead of marrow. The most intriguing anatomical feature is their tetraspheric brain, which has 4 sections and a central lobe, acting as both brainstem and cerebellum. The brain is larger than a human's and highly gyrified, with nodules believed to enable interaction with their technology. These nodules are a major focus of research. Biological systems. Their respiratory system features unidirectional airflow like birds, supporting the high metabolic demands of their brain. They have a circulatory system with copper-enriched blood, which gives it a brownish color. Instead of excreting waste through large orifices, their excretory system uses thousands of pores on their skin, where ammonia-laden waste evaporates to regulate body temperature. Their digestive system is rudimentary, limited to absorbing nutrients from liquid food. They likely consume a broth rich in sugar, protein, and copper to meet their metabolic needs. The endocrine and immune systems are poorly understood, but their innate immunity relies on copper-rich cells. Cultural and philosophical insights. EBOs appear to have a collective belief system centered on the concept of the soul as a field, similar to gravity. This field gains complexity through life and reaches a crescendo with sentient beings. Their ultimate goal is an apotheosis of this soul field, a unification of all life into a singular, transcendent state. Interestingly, this philosophy places no value on individuality. Their societal focus is on nurturing and seeding life to advance the soul field's complexity, even at the expense of individual well-being. Questions and answers. Question 1. Have you shared this with government bodies or intelligence committees? No. I believe such actions would jeopardize my safety. I have no evidence beyond this testimony, and I prefer to keep it that way. Question 2. Are these beings bioengineered worker drones? Yes, they are disposable, unable to live independently without technological support. They exist solely to perform specific tasks. Question 3. Can you elaborate on their religion? Their belief is that the soul is a natural field that gains complexity through life. Sentient beings influence this field in a feedback loop, accelerating its complexity. Eventually, this leads to an apotheosis, a culmination of the soul field. This belief drives their actions, including the seeding and shaping of life across biospheres.